guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is another Premier League predictions video. It's that time of the weekend, people. It is the video, of course, where I go through each and every single game to come up in the next round of Premier League fixtures this weekend. Talk about them, analyse them, and of course predict how I think each and every single game's outcome will be. Before we get into all of that, though, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you all on this upcoming weekend of Premier League action. Your thoughts, your comments, opinions, but most of all, of course, your predictions. This is a Premier League predictions video, after all, people. So your predictions, I'm sure, will make for great interesting reading down below. So please do use and abuse that section at your will, my beautiful people. All right. That's that out of the way. Let's get on with the predictions. And we're going to start off with Saturday's lunchtime game. We're at St James's Park for Newcastle against Manchester City. And I've gone with a 3-1 victory in favour of the away side. Now, Newcastle will certainly fancy their chances against the City side, whose defence isn't exactly watertight. Add the factor of not having Rodri either. And of course, City won't be having him for a number of months. Newcastle certainly will be looking at City and thinking they are a weakened side because of their defensive issues and because of Rodri not being there, and rightfully so. However, City are banging form. Haaland especially is in red-hot form. The guy is already into double figures goals-wise for the season. He is simply phenomenal and seems very unstoppable right now. And against the Newcastle side, who haven't exactly been perfect or outstanding this season so far, I probably suspect he may get on the score sheet yet again this weekend. Newcastle have a decent points tally, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they haven't exactly been outstanding performance-wise. This could be a very big time for them to step up. But ultimately, I think, despite having no Rodri, despite having a few defensive issues, I still think that Man City will get the job done in this game, which is why I have gone for a 3-1 win in favour, of Pep Guardiola's side. Arsenal against Leicester is our next game of focus at the Emirates Stadium, and I've gone with a 2-0 win in favour of Arsenal. This is going to be a tricky game for Arsenal in a different way to what Tottenham was away from home, to what City was away from home last week. This is going to be tricky because this is a game Arsenal are expected to win. Arsenal are expected to come here and wipe the floor with Leicester. And they very well could. Very well could. No one is really going to be picking a Leicester win this weekend. Very, very few are going to be picking Leicester to get anything at all out of this weekend's game against Arsenal. But this is the Premier League. Stranger things have happened, and it isn't completely out the realms of possibility for the Foxes to maybe upset the Gunners here. Having said that, I do believe that Leicester will try and be solid defensively. They will try and be disciplined. They will try and neutralise Arsenal in their main creative attacking areas. But if Arsenal are to get a goal, that will be it. That will be curtains. I genuinely believe that. I want to say for the competitive side of me that won't be it. But I do think that the toughest part of Arsenal's afternoon will be to get that first goal. Once that first goal goes in, I think that will be curtains for the Foxes, in all honesty. I think the lack of Martin Odegaard may harm Arsenal a little bit in trying to break down what should be pretty much a 10 behind the ball sort of Leicester performance. We know that Leicester can be awkward to play against when they're on the counter-attack, but I still think Arsenal have the tools to neutralise them on that counter-attack, should they need to. For Arsenal, it's going to just be about getting that first goal, and when they do, they will win the game. That's my honest opinion on this, and that's why I've gone with a 2-0 win to the Gunners. Nothing too crazy, nothing too emphatic, but a solid victory for Mikel Arteta's side nonetheless. And yeah, hopefully no more controversies surrounding Arsenal this week. That would also be a blessing and a plus as well. But I'm suspecting a win for Arsenal, 3 points and a clean sheet to boot for the Gunners. Next, we're moving on to Brentford against West Ham. An intriguing game, this one, between two sides that have been very inconsistent, hit and miss. so far this season. West Ham have found it difficult to adapt to life under their new manager Julian Lopetegui, whilst Brentford have endured extremely fast starts over the past couple of weeks, but haven't managed to maintain that level of performance throughout the course of 90 minutes, and that is why they are on back-to-back loss territory. 30 seconds, inside 30 seconds, past 2 weeks, Brentford have taken the lead. Both times they have lost. Will we get another fast start here from the Bees? Only time will tell. But I still would suspect Brentford to win this game. Now, in all honesty, this game could genuinely end up any which way and I wouldn't be surprised. We know that when Brentford turn up, they can be very difficult opposition to play against for anyone. When West Ham turn up, well, we haven't really seen West Ham really turn up, in all honesty, under their new manager, but we know that they have the players to make it awkward for Brentford nonetheless. I've gone with a 2-1 win to Brentford, simply for the reason that I saw West Ham last week and they were absolutely abysmal defensively, and I think the likes of Brian Mbeumo will love to play against this type of defence, and I think that he may get on the score sheet yet again for the Bees. I've gone with Brentford to win, but in all honesty, this game could end up any which way. So, fingers crossed my prediction's right, and I go with Brentford, but like I say, not putting too much hope on that, in all honesty, because this could be any kind of result here. Next, moving on to Chelsea and Brighton, and talk about any kind of result brings us on to the Blues, because I am really finding it difficult to predict any kind of Chelsea result, and I have been doing for the past couple of years. Every time I think they're turning a corner, they always go on and mess everything up by losing. Every time I think that they are on a poor run of form, they go on and win. And every time I think, oh, they might find it difficult here and draw, well, one or the other happens. They either lose or they win. So I've kind of given up, and I'm just going with what my gut is telling me now. I've gone with a 2-2 draw here. Now, Brighton have started the season off very, very well under their new manager, the youngest manager in the Premier League, Fabian Herzula. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I hate butchering names, but I just can't help myself because I'm not very good at names. But there you have it. Their new manager, things seem to be clicking there for Brighton. Started off the season pretty well. And new manager as well for Chelsea. They're playing some decent football. They are winning games. They're scoring goals. It's all looking pretty okay for Chelsea, at least on the pitch as of right now. But is it a ticking time bomb? Is this just a bad result away from everything just imploding again before they manage to cover over some cracks and rebuild it in a very weak way? Only time will tell. Only time will tell on that front. As far as this game goes, look, between two new managers who have started off the season in a pretty decent way, probably better than what most people were expecting, including myself, of course, on both accounts. I've gone with a 2-2 draw, a game which could go any which way. Chelsea could win, Brighton could win. I could actually be right on a Chelsea result, seemingly for once, and then actually call it down the middle as a draw. But what I am expecting here is a decent game of football. I'm expecting two sides that like to get the ball down and play some nice attacking football. We could be in for a real treat in this one, in all honesty, this weekend. So I am actually looking forward to seeing this one. Yeah, very much looking forward to it. And fingers crossed there are goals, as I have predicted here. Next, we're moving on to Everton against Crystal Palace at Goodison Park. And again, talk about results that could go any which way. It brings us on to an Everton side who have been extremely poor this season. Managed to pick up a point last time out, but other than that, haven't exactly been great against the Crystal Palace side, who haven't really kicked on at all from where they finished last season. They finished last season with a lot of hope and optimism, and they just haven't quite progressed to the point where we're looking at them and going, you know what? This could be a late challenge to European places. That's what some people were predicting, potentially including myself. Not exactly been the best of starts or the dreamiest of starts by both of these sides, but an opportunity here to maybe kickstart something. I've gone with a 2-1 win to Palace. Now, again, this could be any which way. I was actually more tempted to lean more towards a draw, but I just think Palace may be able to pull something out the bag here. Get their first win of the season under their belts, I believe, and kind of push on from here. I think they've been a little bit unlucky in recent weeks, but the table doesn't lie. Points don't really lie. So, yeah, they are where they are. I'm intrigued by this game, but I don't have a lot of hope for it to be an all-out classic. And especially because Sean Dyche as well is facing a lot of pressure. That only adds another layer of intrigue as far as what I am concerned. So, I'm intrigued by this one, but I have gone with Palace to get the job done over the Toffees. Next, we're moving on to Nottingham Forest against Fulham at the City Ground. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Now, Forest have started the season off very, very well. Better than what I imagined and expected. They are still unbeaten so far this season. And they're coming up against the Fulham side who picked up a very unlikely but incredible win last weekend against Newcastle. We know that when Fulham turn up, they can beat anyone. We know that they can be very difficult to play against. We know that they can be very awkward to play against. But their form is very inconsistent. Forest have been very good defensively so far this season, and they've proven very difficult to beat. Hence why no one's beaten them yet. But defensively, they look a bit more resolute. They look a bit more solid than they were last season. And attacking wise, they look like they can spring an attack at any given moment. A counter-attack, direct approach. This could all make for a fascinating game. This really, really could. And it's one that I'm, again, intrigued by, just by the way that these two teams play. I'd be tempted to lean more towards Forest, especially with them being at home, the home crowd advantage. I'd be leaning more towards Forest. But the form of Emile Smith-Rowe, the win last week, it really could kickstart something with Fulham again. So I kind of cancelled them both out and said it's going to be a draw. But if anything, I am leaning more towards a Forest win. But I'm going to go with my original decision and go with a draw. So 1-1 is what I'm predicting here. Next up, the Saturday evening encounter will see Molineux under floodlights for Wolverhampton Wanderers against Liverpool, a Wolves side who have yet to win so far this season. The pressure is growing under Gary O'Neill against a Liverpool side who have been brilliant under Arne Slot so far, with one minor blip happening a couple of weeks ago in their defeat to Nottingham Forest. Liverpool bounced back brilliantly last week, not only winning in the Champions League, but also getting back to winning ways in the Premier League and at home by beating Bournemouth by 3-0. They come up against a side in Wolves who are yet to win this season, have been pretty poor in all honesty, and yet this is still a massive banana skin, because if Liverpool turn up and they think the game is already won, they will lose. And if anything is to go by that Forest result, they can't afford to take their eyes off the ball here. That Forest result kind of came out of nowhere. Not many people were anticipating that or expecting that. They can't afford to take their eyes off the ball again. If they do, they could probably hand Wolves their first victory of the season. I've gone with a 2-0 win to Liverpool. I think the form of the likes of Trent, Ryan Gravenberch, Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz especially will get them across the finish line. If anything, I'm actually predicting that both Diaz and Salah will get on the score sheet again this weekend. So fingers crossed, Liverpool get the job done, get the 3 points, and also another clean sheet to boot. Hopefully we leave Molineux with only 1 goal so far this season conceded by the Reds. So that would be nice as well. Another clean sheet, which would go some way to strengthening our case of a measure of control on our game plan and gameplay, which I'm liking the look of. But yeah, the important thing obviously is to get the 3 points. That's the main thing, and I'm hoping that we get that on Saturday in what should be a very professional and very, I wouldn't really say comfortable, with saying professional at the same time, but as comfortable a victory as you can in the modern day. moving on a little bit too quickly there. Next, moving on to Sunday's games. And first up, we have got Ipswich Town against Aston Villa. And I've gone with a 3-1 victory in favour of Unai Emery's side. I just think Villa are playing very well right now. They are very much in form. They are very much disposing of teams left, right and centre. They are riding high, and they've also got Champions League football to come for them this week as well. And they're coming up against an Ipswich side who have got a couple of points under their belts. They're still looking for their first win of the season. But I just think Villa will have too much quality, too much strength and depth for Ipswich to handle and to overcome in this one. A draw isn't out of the realms of possibility, and especially if they make their home ground a fortress this season, it could be a tricky place for anybody to go. We saw that Liverpool struggled there for the opening 45 minutes on the opening day of the season. So it isn't a completely foregone conclusion, shall we say. But at the same time, I would expect Villa, with the quality that they have, particularly in the likes of Ollie Watkins and even his sort of understudy, shall we say, in John Duran, to get the job done, finishing-wise. Just far better than being clinical at finishing. That will get Villa over the line in this one. Next, moving on, we're going to jump ahead to Monday night's encounter between Bournemouth and Southampton. Big rivalry, this one, of course. And I have gone with a 3-1 victory to the Cherries. Now, Bournemouth had a couple of poor results in recent weeks, but it hasn't been through lack of trying. They still play some nice and attractive football at times. Their finishing, though, sometimes does leave a lot to be desired. I think coming up against the Southampton side, yet to win this season, in a poor run of form, lost to Manchester United last time out, of course. I think Bournemouth will certainly fancy their chances of not only just getting on the score sheet, but scoring a few goals as well, just to get the confidence back into those lads as well. Southampton, though, rivalry, they'll probably be up for this game. It isn't a foregone conclusion like the last one, but at the same time, I still would fully expect, with the quality on show from Bournemouth, and obviously with Semenyo as well, who has been brilliant for the Cherries this season so far at the helm, I would expect not only him to get on the score sheet, but also Bournemouth to get the 3 points on Monday night. 3-1 Bournemouth is what I'm going for here. And finally, in what I believe to be the biggest game in this round of fixtures, the main event, the highlight of this upcoming game week or round of Premier League fixtures, we're at Old Trafford. It is Manchester United against Tottenham. A Premier League classic is waiting for us for our Sunday afternoon viewing. I've gone with a 2-2 draw. I was debating whether to go 3-2 to one of these teams, and it really could. I am expecting goals in this one. I'm expecting there to be drama. I'm expecting there to be plenty of opportunities between these two sides who are very stubborn in the way that they play. United, I think, will take advantage of Spurs' high line. Spurs will play the way that Postecoglou wants to play. He ain't going to change for no one, and it should make for a very exciting and very intriguing game. Like I say, there should be plenty of chances, there should be plenty of opportunities, there should be a lot of drama, and I'm hoping and praying we get a lot of goals to boot as well. I've gone with 2-2, I'm expecting goals. There really could be a winner in this, but I'm expecting it to be like a 3-2 win to either one of these sides, if there has to be a winner come the end of 90 minutes. I'm expecting a really great game of football. I really, really am. Like I say, I think Man United can properly exploit Tottenham's high line, but at the same time, with the way that Tottenham play, they are obviously going to create chances, and this is going to be a massive test, not just for Spurs defensively, but for also Man United. It's going to be a massive test for United to see how resolute and strong they really are defensively. There's been a lot made about the improvements of United's defensive record this season. This is going to be a massive test for that. This is going to be a big test for those United players. And I, for one, cannot wait for this game to unfold before our very eyes on Sunday. I've gone with 2-2. It really could end any which way. Very much excited to see what this game throws up for us Sunday afternoon. And there you have it. Those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of my Premier League predictions? And what are your own thoughts, comments, opinions? But most of all, of course, what are your own predictions on the upcoming round of Premier League fixtures to come up this weekend? I'd love to know them all down below in that comment section. So please do use and abuse that section. People would love to hear from you all. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up. Enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video. Thanks everyone for your support, and thank you for everyone watching. Really do appreciate it. And I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks again for everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.